Drive my Roadster 70,000 miles. I did 70,000 miles on the clock. Miles, not kilometres. And roastering on a nice day is fun, but most of the times it's a pain in the backside. Because, you know, the number of times, even on a good day, going to Rotorua for a show one time, we were in convoy, and the top was down. A cattle truck, back in the old days, they didn't have effluent control in the trucks, yeah, and a cattle truck came around a corner, and a cow or something was pissing or shedding or something, and we wore it, you know. Not a thing you can do about it, you know. What it was is a bunch of people who, we were mates, but to be perfectly honest, I don't recall how we actually all started this deal, because, you know, hot rodding only sort of really started in the very late 80s or 50s in this country, and this, we're talking the mid 60s here. And we're just friends who like roasters, and we formed a club, an informal club. We weren't an incorporated society, which you had to be if you wanted to belong to the New Zealand Hot Rod Association. And we had some basic rules, I suppose, but I don't recall actually having a committee and committee meetings and club meetings and things like that. We just were into shows. Shows were big back then. Well, they were for us. We put our cars in quite a few shows around different parts of the country, and we made quite an impression, because, you know, the standard of our cars, I think, were pretty good, if I do say so myself. Just a neat time, yeah. Some of the best times. That, you know, those early days of hot rodding, for people who weren't around or you know, missed it, they missed something, you know. Have you ever driven or ridden in one of these things? Right. Well, it's like poetry in motion, right? You're watching. It's not like sitting in an ordinary car where you just close the door and that's it. You know, these things, you see the wheels doing this, and they're doing this, and everything else. You're getting all your senses are being hit with everything that's happening on these things. That's the good thing about them. You know, and when you're in a group, yeah, you're following your buddy up front and another one, your rear view mirror behind. Yeah, it's just neat. That. It's California stuff, you know. It started in California at the Salt Lakes and that sort of stuff, and it's very American. You know, the Queen City Roadster are basically based on the LA Roadster Club, which is a roaster club in America, in California, and they're an elite club, and we sort of style ourselves on that. You have to have a roaster or a rag top, be it a tourer, like, you know, the one over the back there. Yeah, it's just you know, if you're into hot rodding, this stuff is the classic hot rod. You know, this is the classic stance of a hot rod. You know, high buoy, you know, raked, big and little wheels, and yeah, they're just the neatest thing.
Without trying to sound elitist or narrow-minded or anything like that, a lot of people feel, and I'd have to say definitely, the Roadster is the epitome of a hot rod, you know. They stripped them down for the dry lakes in Southern California. It was used on the NHRA logo in the early days, and for these guys back here, when they started the Queen City Roadster Club, they were reading like Rod and Custom magazine and stuff like that, where they would see the LA Roadster Father's Day shows, and they just wanted a piece of that, you know. And when you look at Mike Gearing's Cadillac powered Roadster and Kevin Delores' Roadster that's now in Australia, and the other cars that were in the club, they were really cool cars, you know. They captured the spirit of the American hot rodding dream, you know, and to have a Roadster and to have a really cool Roadster and just drive the wheels off it. I used to read a lot of the old hot rod magazines, and the Queen City Roadster name would pop up in those late 60s magazines, and then it seemed to sort of vanish, you know. There's still clubs like East Bay Rods and Harbour City Rod Club and all that around. And it was something that was probably more my own curiosity than anything to just find out about it, you know. So I actually went and saw Mike Gearing and tried to trace down who the actual members were and what have you. It was a little bit tricky because obviously Kevin Dolores had passed away. What I learned from that was these guys were building these cars actually as good as what we had today and really promoting hot rodding like we're trying to today.
We were all buddies, yeah. We used to knock around with each other socially and so forth. Yeah, we were just a touch different, I think, than some of the other hot rod clubs. I think we used to dress a touch better, and you know, we never wandered around with a bottle of beer like this. Yeah, maybe a bottle of wine, maybe, but not a bottle of beer. That was just the way we used to do it. Yeah, and we had some sharp cars. Yeah. Yeah. Travelling as we did as a group, yeah, from one end of the country to the other. We all had partners. Yeah, good times, very good times. Queen City Roadsters just died out, I think. I got nominated to go on the New Zealand Hot Rod Association committee, and I won my position and got elected. But to be in that organisation, you had to be a member of an affiliated hot rod club, and to be an affiliated club, you had to be an incorporated society. And Queen City Roadsters didn't want to do that, so I ended up joining Riverside Rodders in Hamilton, and the club sort of drifted apart, I think, after that. We're just talking about here now, but the original members of Queen City Roadsters, and we're discussing who's still active, we know who's dead, who's died, but the ones that are just still active, we're not really sure because people have moved on. But some people, they get into hot rodding, you're in hot rodding for life. It's in your blood. It becomes an obsession, or it could be an obsession, I suppose. But you get the bug, and that's it. You stay a hot rodder till you die. But other people move in and move out. So these guys have all died in the wool hot rodders, and I think it's neat. Yeah, that's what you can say.
I'd had my 32 Roadster that I was building, and I thought it'd be quite cool to just kickstart the name out there again and you know, make it really low-key, cool, no politics, you know, just fun with old open cars, you know. We got a lot of interested people, just wanted to have this sort of thing where yeah, if you want to go for a drive today, let's do that, you know. So said about that, and then probably within about a month, there was like 20 names on this register, you know. The interest in the rebirth of the name has been really mind-blowing, actually. It's a lot of guys, there's a lot of guys that remember it. There's a lot of guys, what is that, you know? So we've done window decals, and when I get round to it, I'll get a t-shirt, and there's no cost, no one's the leader. It's totally just about the cars and the people, you know.
I think it always has been the people, because without the people there's no cars. You know, that's always how it is. But as we get older, we all get more and more mellow and don't really give a shit about much else other than maybe our grandchildren now and our old cars.
It was Greg that put it to me that he felt like reviving it. It was a good time. I said to him, like, we've been in East Bay Rods for a long time, but as a Roadster club, an open car club, Queen City Roadsters, it sums it all up. It's a group of like-minded people, and yeah, no, I think timing's just spot on.
Well, I started hot rodding in 1965 when I first started my apprenticeship. got to know just about every hot rodder in Auckland, one way or another, in those years. And well, the Queen City Roadsters guys were part of the scene. At that stage I never had a roadster. For some reason I didn't want one of those. Those has always rained. Now with global warming, it doesn't rain anymore.
It wasn't about let's try and be the biggest or the best or anything. One of the first things I said when I started talking to people about it was we're not going to go and get affiliated because we don't need to. You know, like everyone's still in their club and that's fine, you know. And it's been interesting. A lot of people have really grasped it and thought that's a cool idea, and then a lot of people are still asking questions like, well, how does this work? How does it fit, you know? So if you get it, you know.
I don't entirely agree with the way the sport has been managed. The hot rodding side of the sport has been set up and controlled over the past couple of decades or so. And I'm all for the free spirit deal. You know, just a bunch of guys get together and enjoy themselves. The idea of resurrecting the club in its old style of being informal. Yeah, to me that's. Like I say, if I had the dollars, I'd have one. Be in there. Yeah, for sure.
It's like looking after a piece of art or something. You've got to respect what it is, what it was, and what it will be. And it's much like hot rod restoration. You know, some very iconic cars from all over the world now are getting restored and remembered for what they were, and in some cases getting a second lease of life, you know. At the end of the day, it's all about just getting that photo opportunity, not for commercial use or anything like that, just to have that cool factor of a whole bunch of roadsters going down the road, you know. And, you know, as much as we'll be in them, it'd be cool to be watching them as well, you know. Wow, look at that, you know, these roadsters, like, because you don't see hot rods driving around that much as you used to.
It's a classic line there, and it's a pleasure to look at it. Most modern cars are like donuts to me, big round things with a couple of holes in them. Get a lot of satisfaction out of building something, finishing it and using it. You know, you can stand back and look at it and say, I built that, and then drive it and, you know, I did all this work, it's neat. You know? Yeah, a lot of satisfaction.